Okay, this is a video I'm making in response to a return stove that was claimed to have a yellow, sooty flame producing lots of soot, that kind of stuff. So, I received it back in the mail today. There's the box and the container the stove was in. Here's the stove. Here's the fuel line and the pump. I attached it to a MSR fuel bottle that is probably about half full. This is going to be my test subject here. This is a brand new Trangia tea kettle. About I think this is the 0.7 liter for the 27 series. I used it one time. Obviously you can see there's no soot, no real dirt on it. It's all nice and clean. And what I'm going to do is I've attached the fuel hose to the fuel bottle. I'm going to attach the fuel hose to the stove. The only thing I have done is I've taken that little cable out right there to make sure that it was not clogged or plugged, and it wasn't. I blew through and I could hear air blowing through the jet. This is the position I positioned the flap in for starting it up and preheating. There's a little tiny bit of an opening right there. And if you look right there, you can see the letter A, I hope. There's the letter A. And per using these in the past, that's where it burns on Coleman fuel. So I'm going to set up my tripod here. And then we're going to preheat the stove. And light it up and see what happens with a brand new aluminum tea kettle with water that just came out of the tap, out of a well, so it's pretty cool. So I'm going to attach this. That gets tightened to the stove. Now you'll notice that, let's see if I can see this here. Yeah, you'll see that the control knob is facing up, just like an MSR pump. Otherwise we'll be sucking all kinds of fuel, I guess, into the stove. So I'm going to pump it up. Has not been pumped up. I'm going to give it about 25 pumps. I'm going to preheat it and we'll see what happens. 25 pumps. Okay. Let me make sure that we can see the stove here. Okay. So I'm going to crack this. Let some raw fuel go into the preheater cup. That's pretty full. It's a little bit breezy, and I do not have a windscreen. Now it would be nice if this worked. Huh. Well, it would be nice if the lighter worked, and I don't happen to have a spare one on me. So, there we go. Okay, now Coleman fuel, when it is in a liquid form, burns yellow, as we all know, which does produce soot because it's in a gas, a liquid form, and it's not vaporized, so it will burn yellow. So this is preheating the stove. And I'm just going to move my camera just a tiny bit so you can see that that's where we're at. Alright. I'm going to sit here to block the wind a little bit. And like you know, Coleman fuel is sooty and yellow when it is in a liquid form. And it is burning. Preheat's just about finished. You can hear the stove hissing, I hope. And Pretty soon I'll turn this on. Maybe I probably put a little bit too much fuel in the preheater. It's just about gone. Okay, so what we have is a nice blue flame. I'm not seeing any yellow jumping off of it. Maybe a couple little specks here and there, but that's pretty typical until it gets really warmed up. I'm filling up the tea kettle with well water, so it's probably in the 50s, I would imagine. I'm going to bring the camera over here so you can see what's going on. Okay, I'm not seeing any yellow flames shooting off. Sounding pretty good. So I'm going to put this brand new, used one time and cleaned, Trangia tea kettle on the flame. And we'll sit back and watch what happens. Now I'm going to try to get it so we can see the flame at the same time to see what kind of yellow flames might be jumping off of this. And I don't remember if I mentioned this, so I'm going to pan over to it real quickly. See the control knob on the pump? Needs to be in the up position, just like an MSR pump, because the fuel pickup goes to the bottom and the air bleed off sticks up to the top. Okay, back to the stove so you can see if there's any yellow flames shooting out of here at all. Now again, oh, you can see some soot right in here, and that's from preheating, which you're going to get with Coleman Fuel, which is why I have finally learned after all this time that I will preheat stoves with alcohol. However, for this test, I wanted to show what it was like with Coleman Fuel. Now, I haven't touched the air control flap. It seems to be putting out a pretty good flame as it is. Sounding good. Didn't really need to put any more air in the tank. So we're just going to watch this until it boils. Figure that's probably going to take a few minutes. And then we'll dump the water out and we'll see what the bottom of the pan looks, or bottom of the kettle looks like, to see if it's sooty or dirty or anything like that. Anything that might cause dirt from a sooty or burning too rich flame or anything like that. It was mentioned that there might be something missing, or I believe just something missing inside the preheater pipe, and there's really nothing to be missing. There's a cable, and that pretty much goes right to the jet. It was also suggested that the jet may have been modified to burn something else. Although in all the times I've had this stove and used it, I have not really had any problem burning Coleman Fuel. I'm not really a big kerosene fan, so I can't really comment on how it works on kerosene. Anyway. And like I said, in the past I've used Coleman Fuel to preheat things, and I don't like the soot either, and especially on some of my nickel-plated stoves, it makes them really black and nasty, and I just don't like dealing with that. So I've switched to alcohol, which, you know, sometimes takes a couple primes if it's kind of cold, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And let's see if we can see. There's bubbles forming, so we're getting close. And so I'm going to move the box. And again, there's no windscreen set up, so this might take a little bit longer than it might normally. But you know, I figure several minutes of several minutes of burning. If there were any issues with sooting and yellow flames, it would definitely be apparent. And so far I have not really seen any yellow flames jumping out or any heavy soot. So once the water boils, like I say, we'll dump it off and take a look at the bottom of the pan, and we'll shut the stove down after that. Go from there. So now they're starting to come off the bottom, so we're almost at a rolling boil here. So give it another couple seconds, and take a look. I guess I could have put a little less water in there, but whatever. Filled it up to the line, and we'll go from there. See some steam coming off, so that means it's probably getting ready to roll. Give it a couple seconds here. Alright, I think that's going to be good. So we got a rolling boil. Dump this off. Not see any soot at all. Zero soot. This is just dirt from when I set it on the ground to fill it up. No dirt, no soot. I'm not seeing any yellow flame. I'm just going to let this be on here on the flame itself for a couple minutes. And again, this was returned due to a claim of yellow sooty flames. And I guess I'm just not seeing that, so hopefully this will help. Thanks for watching.